Hello, Kathy here again, and we're about to try a little exercise that may be a great way for you to get started on your sketches for assignment 3. We're going to go into Illustrator and create a new file, a regular old letter-sized 8.5 by 11 file, and in this file I'd like you to choose the rectangle tool and draw yourself a rectangle that is approximately 2 inches square. I'm using my little smart guides here, but if it's a little bit bigger than 2 or a little bit smaller than 2, it's not a big deal. Just something in that neighborhood, about 2 inches square. And once you've got that drawn, let's make sure that it has a little bit of a stroke. There we go, so that you can see what you're doing. And then we're going to choose the pen tool and draw a little critter inside that rectangle. Just make sure that it touches the rectangle on all 4 sides, and it can even go over the rectangle a little bit if you need to. It can have curved edges, it can have straight edges. Make it a little bit jaggedy and raggedy here, and it doesn't have to be a picture of anything, and as you can see, mine is not. Just make it a closed shape that has some curves and some straight edges and touches that 2-inch square on all 4 sides. Something kind of like that. Don't overthink this. Spend 10 seconds, just like I did. Now what I'd like you to do is take your black selection tool and select the square itself. You might have to move your little critter out of the way so that you can grab that square. Select that square that you started with and delete it. That was just a guideline to get your critter to be about this big. Now please select the little critter that you drew and give it a black fill. You know how to do that. Now this little drawing that you've made is going to be your mark. I'd like you to take that and use the Alt drag technique. I'm holding the Alt key down with my left hand and I'm dragging a copy of this critter with my right hand. And I'm going to do that over and over, and you'll notice that as I drag copies of the little shape that I made, I'm overlapping them and touching them so that, I'll select away here so that you don't see the blue lines, so that I'm beginning to create some white shapes inside my black shape. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to use this little critter that you've made as your mark. You may use this and try to use nothing else. You can make it bigger if you want, you can scale it, you can flip it, you can reflect it, you can distort it, you can even rotate it if you'd like, but use nothing else besides this black mark. And as you move copies of this mark, I'm again Alt dragging all over your page, you should begin to see these white shapes emerge. Look for the white shapes. Look for interesting white shapes. Drag all the copies of this that you want, and I hope you'll drag many, hundreds, dozens at least. And as you do, look at the interesting white shapes that you're creating. Your goal here is to finally cover your page with enough black marks that the white shapes are the standouts. The white shapes begin to look like the subject or the positive shapes in the design. Now this is the reverse of how we normally work, and that's the point of this exercise. Normally when you work with black on a white ground, which is what we find ourselves doing in life about 99% of the time when we make any kind of a mark, we are thinking about the black mark. I'm trying to get your brain to flip-flop and think about the white spaces that are created inside the black marks. So let's just finish this very, very quickly. I'm going to drag a whole bunch more of these black shapes all over the place. I'm going to stack them. I'm going to overlap them. Whoops, I'm going to get my dot to appear. There we go. I've got some that go in some directions and some in others, and as you can see, I'm trying not to overthink this. I am playfully covering my, whoops, I just changed one of my shapes. I am playfully covering my paper, my design, with these black marks. Some of them I'm moving, some of them I'm dragging a copy of, and I'm looking for the white shapes that emerge. As you can see, it takes a lot of black to convince the eye that the background or negative shape is black and that the white shapes are the positive shape, right? In some cases, you may have to have way more black than white in order to do that. When you're done, and I'm not sure that I am, but when you're done, what I'd like you to do is on any inexpensive, handily available printer that you've got, I would like you to print this out. And then I'd like you to take a pair of scissors to it. And I'm not going to do this on the screen, of course, but what I'd like to do is have you isolate squares, square compositions within this composition in which you think the black and the white are perfectly ambiguous in terms of which is positive and which is negative. Let's take the rectangle tool again, and this time I'm going to give us a no fill on this rectangle, and we are going to create just a few areas here. Let me work down into this composition, maybe in an area like this. We could say that both the black and the white have a chance to be positive and negative, or perhaps in an area like this. Now, as you can see, what I'm doing is isolating compositions that might be good first rough drafts for assignment 3. These are going to be abstract compositions, obviously, but you should be able to find within this printout of this little exercise, you should be able to find at least 3 or 4, I would suggest. Small compositions, they might not be exactly 3 inches square, they might be 2 inches square, they might be 5 inches square, but you should be able to find some that will function as great little sketches for your first sketches for assignment 3. Your instructions say to do these in pencil, but you are welcome to do them on Illustrator. You probably are feeling comfortable enough with Illustrator to continue and create these sketches entirely in Illustrator. Or if you like, you might want to take these as jumping off places. You created these almost at random, right? And now you're looking down into them and finding designs within the random structure that you created. You might be able to take some of these designs and improve them with a pencil and push them a little further along to greater ambiguity, more interest, better balance, more asymmetry perhaps, something that has better focal points, better eye movement. You can improve these, I'm sure, quite a bit, but that's not a bad little composition to get you started, I think. So I hope this helps. I hope this is a kind of a fun and easy way for you to get started on some compositions for assignment 3. Have some fun with this. Do 10, do 20. Don't spend a lot of time on each one, but remember, every shape in these small compositions you start with needs to be able to assert itself as a positive shape. Not all at once, of course, but we're looking for that flip-flop. Good luck! I look forward to seeing your sketches.